Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. We are going to get off the rails today, but before we get too wild and crazy, I want to give you guys a story. Maybe you're familiar with it, maybe not, but even if you are, I want you to hear it again. Because as you hear me say quite often, we have these tyrannies out there, and it seems that list of tyrants is growing more and more by the day. These people that want to control your life, that want to redefine your language, and unfortunately now they're trying to redefine even who our children are. And a lot of times we're just kind of lost in the shuffle in this fight while the tyrants take over. I want to introduce you guys to Harrison Tinsley. Harrison, you've been in a battle for a while for your child. In the battle is against your child's mother. Tell me what's going on. Tell me this story.
The story starts back like 4 years ago. I was dating a girl in the Bay Area. Essentially fall in love. She gets pregnant very shortly into our relationship, and we're both happy about that, which is wonderful. We never agreed politically, and I always thought that we could get past that.
Yeah.
And essentially during her pregnancy, she became very hostile towards me. She suffers from some serious mental health issues, unfortunately, and I was constantly getting threatened. You're not going to see your son if this or that, if I don't do exactly what she wants, be exactly who she wants me to be.
Was that stemming from like political differences or just her mental stuff going on, or a little bit of all of it?
Well, I can't speak for her, but I would say political differences as well as maybe some mental health crises.
So as the pregnancy progressed, what happened? What
ends up happening is she breaks up with me, sends me a cease and desist letter. So I end up not knowing when my son's born. I find out about a week after. I file in court 2 months after that. And it took 13 more months just to meet my son.
Oh, my gosh.
I met him when he was 15 months old.
Wow.
In spite of obviously being aware of him the whole time.
Yeah. And now she's going even further in regards to what she's doing with your son. What's happening? What's going on? What's she trying to pull?
So I meet my son. A few months later, I move back to the Bay Area, and I get awarded half custody. Super grateful. So around that time, she starts treating him as non-binary. She starts defaming me a lot on social media. And, then I presented all that to court. There was also, she was arrested for child endangerment, placed on 5150 while my son was there. She ended up getting off on those charges, but I still thought it was enough to bring to family court. And so I bring all this to court. I get a 5-day trial. Court renders the decision to keep custody 50-50. So now I'm speaking out as much as I can, and I'm basically appealing that decision to a higher court.
Yeah. And she's still pushing with this non-binary thing with your son, trying to play this whole gender thing. And
as far as I know, I don't know what she does, but my son tells me stuff sometimes. I think it's a little bit less bad than it used to be, but it's interesting because the premise, right, is your kid should be able to choose their own gender, right?
Right.
So that's why you're not saying they're a boy or girl, which is ridiculous, and obviously there's only boys and girls. But if you were to believe that, my son confidently, positively says he's a boy all the time. Yeah. He's proud of it. He loves being a little boy. If you give him too girly of a toy, he'll yell and scream at you, "I'm not a girl, I'm a boy."
Yeah.
He's really not into it. So if that was your premise, right, he's chose.
Yeah.
So
he made the choice.
That's right.
Yeah. Now you're trying to persuade a child.
That's right.
You're filling their head with fantasies and ideas and trying to get them manipulated, which is not something a parent should be doing.
No, you should want your person you love most in the world, your child, to be happy with who they are.
Healthy, secure, all of those things, and have a foundation of love and acceptance and some sense of identity. The problem is, there's a lot of problems, but one of the big ones is you're in California, and that's a nightmare. I mean, let's talk a little bit about these bills in California, the policies in California. What are you up against?
There's some serious anti-parent bills coming down the pipeline, like AB 957, which is directly affecting situations like mine, where essentially the courts recommended strongly to grant custody to a parent that affirms a kid's fake gender or gender identity expression, which is really scary.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I'm actually the one affirming him because he says he's a boy. So maybe that bill will help me. But I still think it'll hurt thousands of families, you know, because family court's so contentious. People are constantly lying and saying whatever they can to win custody or get back at
Yeah, you're the one who's actually giving the gender-affirming care.
Yeah.
I mean, your son said, yeah, I'm a boy.
100%.
He's not interested in going to see the Barbie movie or, playing with Barbies. He's a boy.
Yeah.
And, family courts are difficult everywhere. We're sitting here in the state of Texas. I wish I could tell you that Texas had it all figured out. It really is in a lot of ways. The system is built against dads. The moms tend to get away with everything. But it's about to get to a point, and the scary thing is, Merrick Garland referred to these parents that go to school board meetings and everything and said they're domestic terrorists. When parenting is being villainized in this country, I remind everybody that in 1918, when the Bolsheviks took over in Russia, one of the first things they did was they took children out of the home and put them in schools, and the state raised these children to be good communists. And unfortunately, that's kind of where we're headed. There's so much confusion, whether it's, not teaching them to think, they're not teaching them anymore, they're not truly educating them, to this gender confusion, all of this stuff. And California is just the epicenter for the worst of the worst.
It's right out of the Communist Manifesto. And, to break families apart, it's horrifying. I can tell you this, though. The amount of parents that are standing up, right or left, is very impressive. There's a lot of momentum. I'm sure you've seen like the Armenians in Los Angeles getting in fights down there with the school boards and Antifa, and then there's people at the Capitol, whether it's Our Duty, Mom Army, Dad Army, Freedom Angels, all these groups and people showing up. And I was there the day they voted in committee on 957, speaking against it, and I saw so many people would walk up, crazy hair, say, I'm a leftist progressive Democrat from San Francisco, and I adamantly oppose this bill, which I thought was really cool to see,
Yeah.
But
you're seeing more and more of that stuff pop up.
the representatives, though, don't really represent the people, because even though that's how the people feel, they still vote yes.
No, and I was telling you a story about running into somebody on vacation who's from California, and they were like, "You're from Texas. Why do you stay in Texas? You should come to California." And I was like, "No, there's a whole list of reasons why I'm not coming to California." And they're like, "What's so great about Texas?" I said, "Well, there's a list of reasons that I think Texas is great. It's got its problems, but California is being, there's really good people in California, and they just get smothered by this bureaucracy that's insane, and it's certainly not for the people." And so you have people out there who, and you got the worst of the worst. You're in the Bay Area.
That's right.
I mean, you're San Jose, San Francisco area. I mean, you want to talk about just a stranglehold of insanity who are coming up with these policies. I mean, that's where, they're measuring the Richter scale there.
It's the epicenter, but I can tell you this, Chad. All the parents I know there, because my son has a bunch of friends, right? Parents I meet at the park or wherever. I don't know any that are for this stuff.
No.
Everyone is against it. Every normal person, it doesn't matter your politics. Everyone's against this. Everyone can recognize parents are the ones that should make decisions for their kids, not the government. Everyone can recognize that we can't mutilate children and do irreversible damage to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the people do. And again, our representatives aren't representing us.
Yeah. How old is your son now?
3.5.
3.5. And this is that age where, oddly enough, we're starting to see a lot of mental manipulation take place in these, 4-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-olds. I see some videos that people send me that are absolutely appalling what they're doing with toddlers and just filling their mind with just fancy.
I've seen these
and delusion
videos, yeah.
It's horrible. I mean, it's at this stage in the game, I think we're summoning demons at this point, and it's because there's no logical reason for someone to abuse their child in that way. So we're praying for you, man, and we will be praying for you. And this fight, I'm on your side on this thing because, as a dad, you said something before we started taping. You said it's your responsibility to fight for your son's life and well-being, and.
That's right, and I always will, regardless of the odds, regardless of anything.
Yeah.
I don't care how much pain and suffering I go through. He's worth every bit of it.
Yeah, well, good for you, man, because so many dads aren't doing that, and. I see these videos of these dads celebrating this nonsense that's going on out there. And again, what are you doing it for? The TikTok views? More people need to have some spine and some gumption to go out there and make a stand.
If everyone just had the courage, like you and I do, to speak up for what they believe, we could end this overnight.
Yeah.
Like we said, majority of people are against it. I'm sure there's some select people that aren't.
Yeah.
But if everyone just had the conviction and the courage
to
say what you believe, and you're not free if you can't say what you believe. If you have different things you say when you're at work or when you're at home, you're not free.
Yeah.
That that's not a good way to live your life. You're constantly inside in battle with yourself, scared to speak out.
Well, keep following up on Harrison's story. If you get on the search engine and you Harrison Tinsley, you'll see his story. It'll pop up. And but pay attention to it. Thanks for coming on the show, man. It was an impromptu little thing, but I was glad to see you here. And I said, let's get your story out there on this show as well. So thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you for having me.
Before we go to break, every day we hear about another familiar brand selling out their customers and going woke. And as Harrison said, Americans are sick of this nonsense. They're tired of having leftist propaganda jammed into everything that they have in life, even the products they consume. And the woke mobile companies are no different. For years, they've been dumping millions of your dollars into liberal causes, and you just sit there and take it because you need a cell phone, right? And you probably thought there was no alternative, but there is. And I want you to make the switch over to Patriot Mobile. They're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider offering dependable nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. So you're going to get the same coverage that you've been accustomed to in your area. You're just not going to get the leftist propaganda. So when you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're sending a message that you support free speech, religious freedom, the sanctity of life, the Second Amendment, your military veterans and first responder heroes. They're a 100% U.S.-based customer service team. We'll make it easy for you to switch. You can keep your phone. You can keep your number. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Chad, patriotmobile.com/Chad, or call them 878-PATRIOT. You get free activation if you give them code CHAD, I spell it, Chad, and ask about their coverage guarantee while you're there. So get the same dependable service and take a stand for your values and make the switch at patriotmobile.com/Chad or 878-PATRIOT, and we'll be right back. All right. Steve, I'm glad nobody got you in a custody battle to figure out if you were binary, non-binary, or bipolar.
Still up in the air, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is it fluid? That's gender fluid.
The whole time.
What's that?
I've seen his gender fluid. It's not that great.
Who's been checking the oil?
It looks like Pennzoil 30 weight.
Yeah, after it's been in the car for 10,000 miles. Yeah. It ain't the synthetic stuff, son. No. I can tell you that. Boy, I've seen the drain pan underneath that undercarriage. Wow. Hey, let's see. Bud Light. We haven't talked about Bud Light in a while, but this is fascinating to me. Again, we talked about it, I think, on Monday's episode. Bud Light, all they had to do was fire the CEO and apologize. Not going to do that. But their distributors, Bud Light's distributors, have basically given up hope for the beer to ever recover its sales. Like, there's a beer distributor in Texas who didn't want to be identified, said consumers have made a choice. They've left Bud Light, and that's how it's going to be. I don't envision a big percentage of them coming back. And, I don't drink beer. Every now and then, just a little deal, be like, I'll have a beer. Yeah. And I've always said, just give me a Bud Light, And I have to catch myself now because I'm like, wait, what else do I want? Because I don't really drink beer. And I'm like, I guess give me a Coors Light, and
I kind of took you for a Zima kind of guy.
Did you, Steve? Did you, Steve?
I feel like a mediator half the time.
Yeah. And I'm like, it kind of pisses me off because I don't. People are like, you drink that crappy beer. I don't. I think all beer is crap. Quite honestly, I'm not a fan of beer.
I'm not either.
I'm not a fan of beer. Every now and then I'll choke one down. But these guys are. I'm gonna have the purple dinosaur rainbow penguin IPA. I've never understood people who are reading beer menus, these beer nerds or whatever. And they're reading the thing, I'm going to have an over-the-rainbow yellow wheat 4-clover IPA. And it's like, that sounds delicious. They got all these weird-ass names,
I'm going to chase it down with what is it, Effervescent or however you say it.
Hefeweizen.
Yeah.
I'm going to have...
Just give me
I'm going to have the Golden Rocky Scorpion Hefeweizen.
Just give me
what
a good
percentage
scotch.
alcohol is? Oh, it's 11.5. I can't wait to get trashed.
What's your favorite tequila?
That's a whole other deal. It depends on. It just depends.
Because I was going to get Dylan Mulvaney to ask for an ad for your favorite one.
That's fine. Dylan Mulvaney barely could drink the beer in the commercial that he did.
don't know if that was. I think it was just like apple juice.
I mean, but I like how he did the little. If you notice Dylan Mulvaney, when he pulls the Bud Light out in that little thing, he taps the deal of it, the whole thing of so it won't foam up.
Right.
That's that old. I don't know if that's real or not, where you tap the cap
Bubbles
and then
off the top.
Do it. And he did it. I'm like, yeah, that's not what a girl would do. That's not what a dainty little girl like you're not a little Audrey Hepburn type.
I'm not
thing.
so sure he doesn't like a little foam on his lip, though.
I think he likes a long.
Oh, he said he did a video blaming Bud Light. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
And then he opened the video. It was like, well, if you follow me and know my platform, you know that I like to stay close to the truth. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, your whole premise
Is a lie.
right. What do you
It's
mean?
not founded in reality.
Right.
Close
Not
to
a
the
little
truth.
girl.
Yeah. Only 30% of Americans polled said they were opposed to the boycott. But I can tell you, their stock has fallen by 13.7%, which, again, I hate to see people who had nothing to do with it getting laid off by Anheuser-Busch or InBev or whoever, because it's not their fault. It all could have been avoided. But, I saw a picture from the Luke Combs concert, and they had a Miller Lite stand and they had a Bud Light stand. There's a long ass line of the Miller Lite and 2 people standing in front of the Bud Light deal.
Right.
It's
And
really
I think they were asking
remarkable.
directions.
It's really remarkable to see America come together like that on this one issue.
Yeah.
Like, that really shows a majority that
Right.
says, no, we're not doing it.
Right.
We're not playing the game anymore.
And people are like, oh my God, because they put a gay person on their can or a trans person on the can. And I'm like, if you people are so tone deaf that you still don't get, like, I can't explain it to you anymore.
Right.
We've done it ad nauseum. The idea that you're going to keep cramming something down somebody's throat to the point of, like, everywhere you turn is another piece of woke nonsense that we're supposed to accept. I do not accept that Dylan Mulvaney is a little girl.
Yep.
And again, those are his words. He's a girl,
Right.
not a woman. Then he changed his thing when he got pushback. He said, well, I'm a woman now. I'm in day 300 whatever of womanhood, girlhood, but then he changed it to woman.
I tweeted out, I couldn't tell you when it was, but I think my words were, don't expect me to accept you when you couldn't even accept yourself.
Well, it's true.
Good point. But like I said, they were somewhat playing the game, and then they got away from playing the game, and now we've gotten to the point where we took the ball and kicked it over the fence.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, there's no more game.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to take your glove and throw it up in the tree where you can't get it.
You can't get it anymore.
Yeah, like, we're done with this. I'm going to pop your balloon.
Exactly. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
That's what the Budweiser thing is. We just popped your balloon. You can't play with it anymore.
Yep, you're done.
We ripped the Barbie's head off that whole thing and then threw it. No more Barbie.
And I don't know where in the country. I guess somebody's buying Anheuser-Busch. I mean, somebody's buying Anheuser-Busch.
Tranheuser-Busch.
They don't even Tranheuser. They don't even know they're buying it, because if you're buying Mick Ultra, you're still buying Anheuser-Busch and that kind of stuff. And again, I don't think people were necessarily saying, "Hey, it was just specifically Bud Light." That was the big deal. But there's a lot of people out there saying, "Nah, no Anheuser-Busch at all."
At all. Yeah.
And I'm like, it's fine with me because Codigo tequila right now is my current favorite.
Okay.
But I don't think George Strait's going to put Dylan Mulvaney on his label.
I don't think it will.
I just don't think that's going to happen. And, this is the Texas edition, but I really got to go shopping, dude. This stuff's empty.
Well, he's now going on school tours, university tours.
He's wanting to get hired
Oh,
to go lecture your kids.
they're going to lose a lot of rich donors that way.
Wasn't bad.
There you go.
Wasn't great. That little last skig in the bottom down there is not always the best. My current favorite is Codigo 1530.
George did good.
He did real good. And then George went down there and bought all the agave farms so that anybody that wants to distribute or make tequila, they got to buy his agave.
George is pretty smart.
And he's straight.
He's very straight. He's S-T-R-A-I-T and S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T.
See? Double straight.
S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T.
He's double straight.
Yeah. So that's a good tequila. I just don't think he's going to put that on there. And,
No, we don't want any. Think so.
But I'll tell you this. They do it, and I'm out on that too. That's how I'm going to sober up. They just keep putting.
Yeah, that's how you do it. We figured out.
trans
The
stuff
Lord
on the
works
bottom.
in mysterious ways, Chad.
Yeah. Use a little 17-pound queer dude.
As I told you, Chad, they're going to hate speech people into sobriety.
Well, you're probably right.
It's going to happen.
Keep on doing it. Well, what is it Larry Fink with BlackRock said? We're just going to modify behavior. Yeah, I'm going to quit drinking. Miracles happen happen. So I don't, whatever.
It's very funny to imagine going to an AA meeting and be like, so how'd you sober up, Chad?
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, they kept putting Twinks on the can, and I just, I couldn't get on board with that.
AA is going to have 13 steps at this point. After you acknowledge your higher power, you have to acknowledge that Dylan Mulvaney pissed you off.
right.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Now I'll get people mad at me. Don't you talk bad about AA. Literally no one did, okay? You know how thin-skinned people are?
No.
It's like if you mention something, then you must be
Deal with it every day.
every single day. What was I wanting to say? Oh, play clip number 5, please. Clip number 5.
Say that you are heeding those alarm bells. Are you concerned?
Alarm bells about what?
Alarm bells about potentially RFK Jr., for example, who's polling in double digits, or Cornel West, or the enthusiasm behind a potential no labels candidate taking away from your ticket.
I'll tell you, our focus has been on strengthening America and doing the work every day. That is about seeing through what we are doing to bring down the cost of health care, what we are fighting for in terms of strengthening the economy and America's families. You probably saw recently that projections around recession and inflation are very much reduced because of our economic policies. These are the things that we're focused on. And President Joe Biden and I feel very strongly that our primary focus should be on strengthening America's families and focused on the future in a way that actually lifts people up and doesn't tear people down.
So let's recap.
Yep.
She wants to strengthen American families. That's and we're going to go to work every day. I love how she says that like, oh,
Yeah,
so
that way, that's what normal.
that's what people do. We're going to go to work every day. Yeah, well, the problem is I want to play a clip we played yesterday once again. Balance out what she just said about how everybody's just this economic thing is really strengthening American families. Once again, play clip number 6 because I love it.
But the numbers are down. The support is weaker. There was a poll in the Washington Post not too long ago where how have the Biden-Harris policies affected your life? 49% of Black Americans said they've made no difference at all. Are you worried about that? I mean, where's the disconnect?
At all.
Well, that tells me that we have more work to do, which we are doing, which is to inform people about what we have achieved.
Got to tell them
And
what we've
to
done.
also thank them by reminding them that it was
And thank
because
them.
they voted in historic numbers. Black Americans voted in historic numbers. Young voters, off the chart, historic numbers in the height
Historic
of the
numbers.
pandemic in 2020. And here's what happened. When they voted, they changed the whole terrain.
No, when they voted, what they did was they voted for brain-dead people
It's like
who have accomplished nothing
that first clip
positive.
that first clip was like, well, it's our focus on our strength, but it's also our strength to focus. And when we focus on our strength, it really strengthens our focus. Thanks.
If you could just feel the overwhelming burden of now and just put it in perspective that now
with the past
was
and the
yesterday
present.
then and tomorrow's
She's
now.
like the worst fortune cookie I've ever opened.
Yeah. I really believe she's trying to focus.
Yeah, she's trying on something. No, she
CNN.
focuses well on her knees.
Woof. What was it you called her off air?
Come swallow Harris.
Oh, blood of Jesus, blood of Jesus. Biden finally came out and acknowledged Navy Joan Roberts, his biological grandchild. That's number 7. I mean, they put out the stockings for all the grandkids and even the dog. And poor little Navy Joan didn't get nothing. Finally, he admitted that there's a granddaughter, and that's old news at this point. But again, on State of the Union, CNN commentator Scott Jennings rebuked that whole happy, quote, family man narrative that persists about the Bidens. He was responding to former Biden aide Michael LaRosa, who accused Republicans of weaponizing Navy against the president. It's not Republicans, with all due respect, who made Hunter Biden into a complete scumbag on this and other issues, Jennings stated. The ignoring of his own daughter for 4 years and the president of the United States hanging up a stocking for the dog and not his 7th grandchild. We can also have sympathy for people who are struggling with addiction, she said. Let's keep this conversation respectful. Listen, I totally agree. And where I'm from, a lot of families deal with addiction. And you know who ends up picking up the pieces? The grandparents. And in this case, the grandparents would not acknowledge this little girl. It's offensive. So there it is. The problem is his polling numbers were so crappy. And
He had
the PR, the blowback from this thing sucked so bad, he had to acknowledge this grandchild. He didn't want to do it.
I've solved the issue. If she had $20,000, she could buy a dog costume, become the new dog in the family, and then he'll add a stocking for his 7th grandchild.
You see the story that came out this week where they took pictures of a bear in a Chinese zoo standing up on the wall, and it's a person in a bear costume, and the Chinese government is swearing up and down that is not a person in a bear costume.
It's a real bear.
It's a real bear. That's the clown world the Chinese are living in. But again, we're seeing it all over. But you're right. Navy could have
Solved it.
She could have dressed up. They dressed that little kid like a dog. Send him in, and then Commander would chew her apart.
And then Biden will talk to his dog about the weather.
Yeah, 100%. All right, guys. So we've been with Relief Factor for a long time here at Blaze TV. The Relief Factor is a great product, man. They brought us years ago. They brought this unknown anti-inflammatory to the marketplace, and they had been testing it out in Seattle, and it had a remarkable ability to reduce pain for a lot of different type of chronic ailments. I use Relief Factor. I love it. It's an all-natural alternative to pain medications that will keep you pain-free. Inflammation is not only the chief cause of pain, but it's also a factor in many other diseases. So Relief Factor will help combat that and keep your inflammation markers in check. So hundreds of thousands of people order Relief Factor every month, and about 70% when they order it the first time will reorder it because it works for them. And you can now order a trial pack for only $19.95 to see if it will work for you. So go to ReliefFactor.com or call them on the phone, 800-4-RELIEF. That is ReliefFactor.com. We'll be right back. I mean, I don't hate the fact that they brought Verlander back.
Well, I kind of do.
You don't like the Houston Astros.
I can't stand them.
Well, I don't mind them.
Because you live there.
Well, I'm a
Traitor.
Texas Rangers fan, but I'd still pull for Texas teams, Steve. And you know what? Texas Rangers shouldn't have gotten rid of Nolan Ryan. And Nolan Ryan went to Houston.
He was 72 years old.
All the more reason.
Oh, you mean when he was the GM?
When he was winning.
Thought you meant pitching.
No. The pinhead John Daniel.
Yeah.
Who, thank God, he's gone from the Texas Rangers as a GM. What a punk.
I'm just glad they're putting forth some sort of effort.
The Rangers or the
Rangers.
Astros?
No, the Rangers. I don't give a shit about the Astros. I'm talking about the Rangers.
The Rangers have picked up Max Scherzer.
Yes.
They better start hitting the balls, what they better start doing.
But at least they're trying to spend money. They're trying to get a team together.
Well, I mean, they spent most of the season in first place in their division. They got a team together. If they don't fall apart, thank God for people like Bruce Bochy and, Mike Maddox on the coaching staff who actually know what they're doing.
Right.
And a front office that's letting them win.
Right.
I feel like I'm in a custody battle.
Well, Steve he's 100% binary. He's a Texas Rangers fan. And I am a homer. I like for Texas teams to win, but I'm also an Atlanta Braves fan. I have been my entire life. But again,
you can't like all the teams, Chad.
I can like all the teams. I am
team fluid.
I am team fluid.
Yes.
I am MLB fluid. I'm a baseball fan. There. But yes, I bleed Ranger Blue, baby. Ranger Blue. But I am going to the Houston game.
Getting
tomorrow.
swapped to the Guardians.
Yeah.
Getting swapped to the Guardians?
No.
Okay.
We used to go to the Cleveland games, though. We used to go to Cleveland for work, and we'd go to they'd give you those, what were they? Somebody from Cleveland's got to help me. Was it the Tribe Bucks or something like that?
No clue.
They would give you this, fake money that you could go, and it was good for stuff inside the stadium. And you have these companies, they'd give you like $500 and they entertain you. They'd give you like $500 in whatever, Tribe cash. And like, this good for booze? Yes.
It's called Wampum.
Let's go. Go womp them. Get some peyote. But anyway, so I don't know. We'll see. Texas Rangers, I'm not feeling it right now. They're cold, dude.
Okay.
They've dropped 5 straight games.
Okay, it's okay.
Can we play, speaking of Chinese bears,
Rangers just need to focus on focusing.
Yeah, so they can strengthen
and
their
just
focus.
go to work every day. They'll just go to work every day and just show up and tell people that
They need
what
to
they've
do
done.
better at
Yes.
telling people how
We've done-
good they are.
We've done a poor job at telling
We've
them what they
lost-
need to know.
We've lost 5 straight, but I think we need to tell the fans how good we are and how good we've been doing, and thank them
So the
for
past
continuing to come.
can continue
Yes.
to be the present, so it
Yes.
can continue to roll into the future.
Yeah, play Chinese clip number 2. Clip number 2. Now this guy's getting his credit score on his phone, and they play a siren that tells you your credit score sucks. And then that guy comes on there and browbeats your ass.
It sounds so angry. Yeah, it could be pleasant. I don't know. It sounds bad.
It doesn't.
Your credit score has disrespected
You
your
have
friend.
disrespect. Your credit score is disrespect. You
Dishonor.
dishonor on your family. Your ancestors decry you. Your ancestors are ashamed.
This is a good
It'd be
episode.
so funny if they outsourced it to India and it was just an Indian dude like, "Excuse me, sir,
Sir.
but your credit score is very bad right
Let
now."
me tell you, Mr. You.
Is
Let
that-
me tell you, Mr. You can't spend the money and you cannot spend that money.
They're going to lock you and weld you in your house if you do not behave better.
Do you will disappear you? Your body will be in a mass grave. Do you want this of your life? No.
You sound like Indian Bill Cosby.
I know, right? You gotta put the pill in the pudding. You put the pill in the drink, and then you come back, and you're like, and she's asleep, all asleep, all night long.
Which brings me to my ad. If you're needing sleep,
You got to put the pill in the pudding.
yeah, it's a mix. It's a little
I do
blend.
not like the new Coke. Just one sip of tequila, man.
That's all it's
One sip. All right. What was I getting to? Brittany Griner. I love Brittany Griner. You know, she spends 9 months in a Russian jail cell. Comes back to the WNBA. Gets harassed by our very own Alex Stein at the DFW airport. She's taking a mental health break after just 20 games. She's been Fettermaned. She's been Fetterman. She's 32 years old. She didn't go to Chicago for their game against whatever. She plays for the Mercury. She was going to play the Sky. So she didn't go this past Sunday. And she's also going to miss the one against the Indiana Fever. Honest to God, if you ask me to name, I'm reading these. If you ask me to name a WNBA team name, no way.
Couldn't do it.
I
can
just
list
found
it.
out there's a team that has my name, and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
The Chicago Sky.
Yeah.
I can tell you every team in baseball, their city, their mascot, and what division they're in.
Yep.
And probably be pretty close to telling you where their standings are.
Right.
I can't tell you a single thing
Nope.
about. I can tell you the NBA teams and cities. I don't know where their standings are when they're playing. I don't even know when their season's going on. Honestly,
It's because you're
I could care.
sexist.
I don't care. Don't give a shit. But she taking a little mental health break. And June 10th, Griner positioned herself as the victim of harassment at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport after comedian and BlazeTV host Alex Stein confronted her about gaining her freedom through a controversial prisoner swap. Was it fair trade? Stein asked her in the public space. I know you killed on the court, but Bell killed in real life. Brittany, are you having a love affair with Vladimir Putin?
That's really good. That's pretty good.
Brittany, do you think it was fair?
Didn't he say something like, do you still hate America?
Don't you still hate America, Brittany Griner? I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Brittany, why are you pushing me? Why are you touching me? Why are you pushing me? Why are you so mad?
Griner. I barely even know him.
Oh.
Little twist at the end of that one. I don't know if y'all heard it.
Gotcha. I guarantee there's people in the live chat right now going, it's not a woman. It's not a
I
woman.
barely even know him. Griner. Barely even know him.
Barely even know him. All right.
True American patriot.
Hey, guys, I got to tell you about my friends over at Black Forest. You know, they're trying to absolutely systematically erode traditional masculinity in our country. You can put a stop to that. You just got to take the right supplements and take care of yourself and do man things. Black Forest, their Testo Stack is pretty incredible. It's an all-powerful American testosterone supplement, and it harnesses the might of testosterone, Sustanch. Did I say that right? Did I say it right? Tonkat Ali. Mm-hmm. I take this stuff.
My favorite boxer.
Yeah, I take this stuff. Mama called him Clay. I'm going to call him Clay. I take this stuff. I can't pronounce it, okay? But they will help you take back your masculinity and fight the feminization epidemic. Look at me. Look at me. Testosterone is what makes me a man right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm feeling very masculine. But it supports muscle growth. It enhances your endurance, bolsters testosterone levels. Sustanch is a herb that improves your sexual function, your overall vitality. Even Genghis Khan relied on Sustanch to maintain his virility and conquer new lands. He took over the entire known world, sort of. Then Tonkat Ali, which is another herb, which was used for centuries to elevate testosterone levels, boost libido, and relieve stress. So I take it. I love it. Black Forest Testo Stack. I'm talking to you men out there. Talking to you guys, if you're starting to get a little saggy, this is the stuff you need, okay? Energy level, strength, overall well-being. And if you're like me, you want to support brands that stand for traditional American values, this is a good one. They're not pushing a leftist agenda. They're not woke. They're bringing back traditional masculinity. You can call it toxic if you want. I call it the Black Forest Testo Stack. Get your 10% discount when you use code CHAD, I spell it Chad, at blackforestsupplements.com/Chad. blackforestsupplements.com/Chad. Be right back. Now, the prosecutors in the Hunter Biden case, they once demanded prison for ex-police chief who broke the same tax statute as Hunter allegedly did. So the two of the prosecutors assigned to the Hunter Biden case, they actually pushed for prison sentence for another public individual who did the same thing. That's right. Leo Wise and Derek Hines, they brought a criminal case against then Baltimore Police Commissioner Darrell D'Souza, and 3 misdemeanor counts of failure to file a U.S. individual tax return. I should get on that, too. I should probably do mine. The IRS won't answer anybody's calls or letters. They won't. Bureaucracy at its finest. Can't get them.
How many new agents did they hire?
Yeah, they haven't hired them yet.
No.
We'll see.
They're supposed to.
So anyway, same type deal.
Mm-hmm.
Same type deal. And I hate the IRS, dude. But anyway, they went after him for the same thing. They're just giving a little slap on a hand there for that whole deal. What were we talking about? Oh, we got a show coming up next week, Georgetown, Texas.
Yes, we do.
And I want you guys to get tickets. Watch Chad.com. I'm in Oakmont, Pennsylvania, Friday night. Then I'm in Waco, and then on the 12th we're in Georgetown, which is north of Austin, kids. It's enough north of Austin that the crazy fallout doesn't hit us.
Yes.
Yeah, Georgetown, and I'm gonna go to La Jolla. Where was I? What was I looking at here? And there it is. High school senior boys. According to a survey, high school senior boys nearly twice as likely to be conservative as liberal. This is a University of Michigan survey found that boys in their senior year of high school are almost 2 times more likely to identify as conservatives and liberals. However, for 12th grade girls, they're even more likely to consider themselves liberal than conservative. You know the problem with what's going on in our country? We're giving too much voice to girls that are college age. They're the ones that are the screeching progressives out there. It's the girls in colleges getting indoctrinated.
Where you're seeing a trend of Obama and then those people that grew up under that kind of leftist regime there trend. And now these senior boys grew up under Trump.
Yeah.
And so they kind of like that masculinity approach, and so they're becoming more conservative.
Quite honestly, I'm going to tell you, I love the boys. The boys love me back.
Right.
The boys think I'm fabulous. I don't know if you know this or not, but they do.
But it's that trend. It's that pendulum that swings like you're talking about, which is good. It's a
Trump!
good thing.
It's me, Alex. Trump.
The boys love me. I love Alex Stein. I know you mentioned him. He's kind of crazy, but he's my kind of crazy. There's the opening monologue for Alex's show. It's still loaded in the teleprompter. Hey, everyone. As you can see, I'm having my moronic virgin producer, Jimmy, read the monologue on my behalf. He asked me to call him JVT instead of Jimmy due to privacy concerns.
Now I want to hear Bill Cosby, Alex Stein, Trump as an Indian.
Ultimately, my goal is to get Jimmy canceled so badly. This is a
That
Trump.
was pretty good.
This is an Indian Trump.
Yes, I heard that.
They want to get Jimmy canceled so badly that Princeton revokes his diploma and publicly disowns him. However, I have upset former NBA player Steven Jackson. Anyway,
This show took a left. Yeah.
that's all over the place.
I
man.
love it.
We're off the rails. That's what we call it on Thursdays. School districts' new 4th and 5th grade sex ed curriculum uses phrases boys and people with a penis, girls and people with a vulva, and assigned sex at birth. I don't know if y'all followed that, but the new sex ed curriculum for 4th and 5th grade kids. This is Nevada. Let's say it right.
They can't be driving Volvas in 5th grade.
Vulvas. I've heard that a vulva is the safest car on the road.
That's what I've heard.
All the standards. I mean, all the safety standards. I've heard that when you drive a vulva, people look at you differently. Like they just know that's a safe car, but also it says it's a fine automobile.
Yes.
Exquisite, but affordable. You gotta love a good vulva. And
Stop being a Weisenheimer.
so the curriculum says boys and people with a penis, girls and people with a vulva. Quite honestly, I love the vulva. And assigned sex at birth. So that's what they're teaching for the 5th graders. This is Nevada. Nevada is it's going to hell too. But that's a body with a penis.
Seems too wordy.
I am a body with a penis.
Is it body with a penis?
They have people with a penis and body with a penis. So body with a penis, body with a vulva. It refers to males and females. Additionally, the 5th grade curriculum uses the phrase assigned sex at birth.
Dogs have bodies with penises.
Yeah.
All animals have bodies with
Yeah,
penises. How
they
are we
do.
going to relate the human version of
I
that?
don't know. Well, there's no difference, honestly, between us and the animals. Not anymore. Except the animals get it and we don't.
Yeah,
I've never.
They don't ask to change.
I've never seen a horse go. I'm feeling real insecure in my skin right now.
I love that argument where like, some mammals change their sex. I'm like, well, yeah, but some mammals have wings, but I don't tell a guy jumping out the window that. I'm like,
Yeah.
Some mammals do have wings. Go ahead and jump.
Yeah, let's take all of our
It's
stuff.
a different
from that.
species. Who
And then
cares?
earlier in the week, this was an interesting story. You had this drag queen artist that topped the Christian album charts on iTunes, which is weird. I mean, obviously, this is Flamey Grant.
This is rough.
Not to
Those
be
are good
confused
ones.
with contemporary Christian artist, longtime Amy Grant, Flamey Grant.
Wait, is that the real name or is that your pun?
No, it's true.
Oh, dear God.
Oh, I thought that was a joke.
No, it'd be a great joke.
Surely the asteroid's going to fucking kill us soon.
Flamey Grant's album Bible Belt Baby, which was actually released last September, topped the iTunes Christian chart late July on account of social media spat between Grant and Sean Fucht, the more, however you say his name, traditional Christian musician. Yeah, that's Flamey Grant. Was with a Christian artist, Derek Webb, and Fuchs said, "These are truly the last days."
It has to be.
Yeah,
Gotta be,
deconstruction.
dude. There has to be an asteroid on the way. There has to be.
This is rough.
Yeah. So Flamey Grant, a.k.a. Matthew Blake, grew up an evangelical Christian and was even a worship leader for more than 2 decades, said, end goal, baby, we're just getting started. Okay. Yeah. He said, I'm personally tired of Christian music being dominated by guys like Sean Fucht. I think it's time for girls like us to have a shot at cracking the charts so that people who love Christian music but don't want to be in bed with MAGA have an option.
He puts the gay in heaven's gates. It's the best I got.
Well, there you go. Now I've got to go listen to this song. I won't. I shan't.
You saw the Barbie
You will.
movie?
You will draw a bubble bath and you will turn it on and you will listen.
I'd look it up right now and play it on the thing, but then we'd get checked for copyright infringement.
I am going to listen to it.
Well, what that tells you is you have a lot of LGBTQ in the evangelical world that are pushing this stuff.
Or it could just be so extremely weird, people go listen to it, and then
maybe so.
Yeah, it just be like, I've got, just like we're discussing,
Like,
we got to go listen to it.
That's a hard chart to, I mean, for decades, the same people have dominated the Christian charts.
That and I've always wondered about that too. How much of this weird bullshit is somebody going, you know what? If I just act a little more weird, I'm going to capitalize on this shit.
Yeah.
Watch.
Sam Hunt.
Right.
I mean, these people they're crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's nothing new. Alice Cooper, Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. David Bowie.
David Bowie. You know, all these guys. I mean, what was the Marilyn Manson? I mean, you know,
that's a good point.
Madonna.
Kiss.
How far can we push it?
Yeah.
You know, they've
Kiss,
always been
all of them.
weird.
Gimmicky.
I mean, that's the
Gimmicky.
gimmick. I mean, I understand, and it drives people to it because you just can't look away from the craziness of it all.
Right.
All right, hang tight. We'll be right back. Flamey Grant. This is why I haven't been able to sell tickets to shows. I'm just kidding. Everything's sold out. My shows are packed.
That was a
baby.
good plug for yourself.
Yeah.
Music.
I'm gonna come up with a good gay name. I think I've done it a few times. Back when I identified as a black woman. I can't remember what the name was now. Anyway, watchchad.com. That's where all the fun stuff is. The most vain website URL on the planet, watchchad.com. You can get it all right there. You can go check everything out and find us out on the road. Follow Sky Corban, thetruth.Sky Corban. That's Corban with an A. On Instagram, stevehelmsband.com. Find him on the road with me. Find him on the road with himself. Find him in the bathroom doing unmentionable things.
I do a lot of things by myself.
You do.
Was that your number I saw in the stall?
Yes.
It was like in the shape of, never mind. Check them out. Follow them. And don't forget, tomorrow, Sky and I had a pretty in-depth conversation on things that you don't want to miss out on Overtime. If you go into the BlazeTV app, you go to the Chad Prather Show, you click on it, and you'll see the various episodes each night, but then you can also see the Overtime. You'll see the different thumbnail. Check it out. Click on those. Some great conversations if you've been missing them. BlazeTV.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad and save, and we will see you next week. Love you. God bless you. Bye.